Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this. Yes, he knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
We showed you the furious exchange between Whoopi Goldberg and Karoline Leavitt, the new White House press secretary, a few days ago. However, we failed to show you the whole, unfiltered drama, including the gasps, eye rolls, and the crazy on-camera responses that kept viewers riveted. Hold on tight, because what's about to happen will leave you speechless.
I, too, am a working mom and always have been. I've been a professional woman since I graduated from college or law school. But now there's, I think, a good thing, which is like the restoration of valuing so-called traditional moms, and that's great. The women who take care of their kids full time. Most of my best friends are doing exactly that. But it seems like in the right, there's like a bit of a shift toward like, you can't do what Karoline's doing. That's actually like an unsafe or a dangerous or a bad choice for families, for children, which I reject wholesale, but you hear it more and more.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? What do you think?
Now, the so-called woke mob did what they usually do when Karoline hit back on live television. They snapped like clockwork. With their claws out, they sprang online and attempted to pull her through the virtual muck. And for the only reason that she dared to challenge Whoopi, the self-proclaimed queen of progressive Hollywood. This is where things get tricky, however. Rather than criticizing her policy, facts, or even tone, they targeted her parenting. Indeed, they took a cue from the 1950s and questioned why a woman with a 7-month-old child was even employed in 2025. That was the internet outrage armies. Brilliant response. She's not incorrect. But why isn't she home? No statistics, no receipts, just plain old mom-shaming from folks who say they support freedom, choice, and advancement, all because Karoline outsmarted Whoopi. Live and unadulterated, the irony, the same group of people on the internet who shout women can do it all, abruptly applied the brakes only when she did it on her own terms. It seems that if you dared to outshine a daytime talk show host, you should go home, bake some cookies, and reconsider your whole life. Empowerment? Not that. That's blatant hypocrisy disguised as hashtags. Furthermore, Karoline Leavitt wasn't saying anything outrageous. Let's face it, her arguments were sound and well-founded. So why is the mob pursuing a diligent mother who is only attempting to carry out her duties? Where is the support for working women now? Watch this now. Karoline doesn't simply react. She calmly and confidently silences the fury, as if she's using a gold-plated sledgehammer to swat a bug. Just the facts. No drama or shouting. She lays it out. It is possible to have a job and be a mother. You don't have to give up who you are for either. Crazy idea, huh? Someone should warn the internet. There is still common sense. But here's the twist. She goes farther than that. Karoline deviates from the plan. She maintains her integrity while publicly embracing conservative ideals. It's challenging to balance parenthood with a well-known career.
I would reject that it's a bad choice. Is it a tough choice? Absolutely. You know, as a mother, you want to be with your child 24/7. You have that maternal instinct.
27.
Yeah. Not all the time. Well, right now, yes, because he's 7 months and just squishy and lovable, but I'm sure that will change. No, but you know, you do have that maternal instinct, but also recognizing, like, I'm doing this work for my son and for all children to make this country better. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Honestly, Karoline is making some solid points, and I have no idea why people are hating on a hardworking mother in the first place. Let's see what she has to say next.
Yes. It's also it's temporary, right? In 4 years, my son will be 4 years old, and the president will no longer be at the White House, and then I'll move on and do something else. But, you know, this chaos of 24/7 work is a temporary matter. And that's what at least I tell myself to get through these very long and hard days. But I would reject that you can't be a good mom and be good at your job. I think you can do both. It certainly it's not for everybody. And it takes a lot of work and will and faith and prayer. And it's hard, but it can be done. And, you know, I would reject that.
Karoline Leavitt shatters the "you can have it all or you failed" feminism mantra, pointing out that full-time motherhood is a strength, not a step backward. She exposes how the loudest equality advocates are often the first to mock women who choose differently, a mix of mom-shaming and performative feminism. But just when it seems the online outrage can sink lower, it turns into full-blown conspiracy.
I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
The latest, a wild rumor that Elon Musk plans to shove Donald Trump down the stairs to remove him from power. The women of The View push it like it's a federal investigation, all because Leavitt outsmarted Whoopi Goldberg. Leavitt's response is calm but crushing, dismantling the nonsense and leaving critics scrambling. Whoopi, wisely avoiding a direct clash, sticks to throwing shade from afar, knowing that a face-off with Leavitt would be political suicide.
A lot of women are preparing themselves for the impact of the incoming administration, which has led to this growing mantra from male right-wing incels. Your body, my choice. Say that to my face.
Karoline Leavitt and Whoopi Goldberg did not face off. Rather, Whoopi veered off course and attacked, but what happened next even seasoned. Viewers were taken aback. After uttering Trump's name live on national television, Goldberg spit out, yes, spit, like a cartoon villain who had just suffered a crushing loss. Very elegant, isn't it? Because nothing conveys a serious political conversation more than spitting in the middle of a sentence, but Leavitt wasn't going to accept it. She retaliated with a clapback that was clear, incisive, and downright vicious. She expressed what everyone was thinking with the power of a freight train and the precision of a surgeon. Now that is what's considered debatable. Goldberg goes into full playground mode when there are no facts to rely on. Leavitt said, imagine being so rattled by one man's name that you start spitting like a toddler who hates broccoli. And honestly, she had a point. It wasn't defiance, it was desperation, and it looked bad. Leavitt didn't hesitate to speak. She made the double standards quite evident.
You must have really wrestled with how you were going to meet the high bar set by Karine Jean-Pierre. Was that... Sorry. Was that out loud? No, she was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how has your approach differed, would you say?
I think it's vastly different. And if you ask people, even in the legacy media, even the Trump haters, they will tell you the approach has been much different. Not just from me, but
They
the
admit that
entire
to you.
White House. Oh, absolutely. They come in my office every day and they'll admit that off the record.
Oh.
Maybe not on the record, but they will say they appreciate the access and the transparency and the preparation that goes into my briefings and everybody on our team.
Live TV turned into a circus as Whoopi's stunt backfired, fueling support for Karoline Leavitt and sparking viral memes. Critics accused Goldberg of spitting on half the country, while others claimed it was staged. Leavitt's real win came in exposing media hypocrisy. The same journalists who attack her publicly quietly thank her for press access behind closed doors.
An IG report from the Social Security Administration, there were 71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just one year, and it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in one year, just over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the...
After the Whoopi clash, a woke journalist tried to sideline her corruption exposed by nitpicking wording. Leavitt stayed composed, delivering a sharp jab that left the reporter looking like a PR intern for the scandal she'd just exposed. Her secret, speaking from the heart without scripts or buzzwords.
How do you prepare? Because you can't know everything, and you could get asked anything. And unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, you're not out there reading and furiously flipping through your tabs to try to find an answer somebody else has written for you.
Yeah.
So how are you preparing?
So I did prepare a binder for the first briefing. My great assistant, Keegan, put it together. And then I showed up to work and it was like this thick. And I was like, I can't even move this. I can't use this. It was too cumbersome for my brain and the way I learn and think and study to have that. It felt like added weight. And I said, I want to just go in there and speak from my mind and from my heart.
Like your boss.
Like my boss.
Leavitt speaks without apology, cutting through. The left's PR polished doublespeak with confidence, conviction, and clarity. No fluff, no focus groups, just results. While critics waste time crafting outrage threads like it's still 2016, she's already dismantled their arguments. In a world of phony outrage and empty slogans, her honesty isn't just refreshing, it's a threat to those built on smoke, mirrors, and selective outrage.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous...
That's why Joy B. Ha and Whoopi Goldberg's petty jabs at her appearance reek of envy. Karoline's brilliance, poise, and rapid rise unsettle people who've spent decades shouting into cameras with little to show for it, unable to challenge. Her record, they resort to high school level insults and claim Trump is the only reason for her success, ignoring the fact she was making waves long before the White House. If she were a liberal mother balancing family and career, they'd call her an icon?
Very nice looking lady. But it isn't true that that's why she got the job. She got the job because she was the national spokesman for the campaign, and she did a very good job at in that role. And the campaign was hugely successful and communicated very effectively. That is why she got the job. Even if Karoline Leavitt weren't a pretty lady, even if she were a male, gremlin, monstrous-looking fellow, she still would have gotten the job based on how effective the campaign communications was. Furthermore, Karoline Leavitt ran for Congress. I was talking to Roger Stone about this when we were trying to figure out who the picks for the administration were going to be. He said, I think Leavitt's going to get the White House press sec job. I think she earned the job, and I like that she has been in the fire. She's run for office.
The more they complain, the more obvious the double standard gets. This isn't politics, it's jealousy. As Michael Knowles noted, Leavitt wins the cultural fight by showing up. Her grit, not just sound bites, sets her apart in her congressional run. She crushed Matt Mowers in the GOP primary and nearly beat Chris Pappas in the general, shaking the establishment and proving she belonged.
Now to the cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold. Here is her assessment of Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The ever-empowering feminist, Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Leavitt's resilience drives the left crazy. She's smart, tough, and effective, everything they claim to admire but secretly fear. While The View talks, she shapes national narratives in the White House. They know it's about relevance, and they can't match her skill. Every clash leaves her stronger, them scrambling.
The CNN guy, Jim Acosta? Oh, wait, he's not on CNN anymore. That's right. He was like, it was just so, I would say, you don't mind the aggressive questions, you take the aggressive questions, but it was just always to the point that it was like, how do you destroy Donald Trump? How do you destroy the individuals of staff? It was so, when they do say Trump derangement syndrome, and I do think that there's also Elon Musk derangement syndrome happening too with the media, because they don't know how to handle it. How do you view that differently from the first administration till now?
Well, first of all, since you brought up Jim Acosta, he's been saying some not so nice things about me online, and I've resisted responding, but since you brought him up, I'd like to say to Jim, at least I have a job, Jim, okay? Just say.
Armed with facts and a smile, Leavitt dismantles critics. While they shout, her clapbacks are so sharp that Whoopi avoids direct debates, not from business, but because she knows she'd be dismantled on live TV. Leavitt plays chess while Goldberg fumbles with checkers, ending with a perfectly polite, "Bless your heart."